hey, just a tiny bit more on Kant. So I basically told the story of how he has a differentiated system between phenomena and noumena, where phenomena is a synthesized, imagined experience that is composed of raw sense information and organized concepts so that you can make meaning out of your experience. That is presented to you, the subject. And noumena, which is something that is super sensible, something that is bigger, beyond, higher, different in some way than what we know from what we can sense in phenomena. And so we have to basically take a leap of faith and believe that there's something more than what's human. That's kind of Kant's project. Where that leads into modernism is that it blows up the medieval philosophers' dream of construing the conceptual world with the real world. The entire world is humanly oriented. We can become more objective, more factual, but we can't get around the fact that we're human. And so because there is this sensible world in which perception is rooted, it's not rooted in our minds, but the world as it appears is entirely mediated by us. In a way, it transposes kind of the entire philosophical project on its head. Rather than trying to prove that the way things are that things are the way things are and that we can know the laws of nature, what it does, or reacting to that goal of sort of a divine understanding by making softer claims, by not inferring causation or not inferring things where you don't have clear evidence of a pattern or a rule. Excuse me, my little stand moved. Rather than falling on the side of rationalism, trying to believe that the laws of nature are things in themselves, and that the real things are the ideas, the rational ideas of things, that, for instance, that the world obeys mathematics and that mathematics is somehow what the real things are. You might say that when you drop a ball, it's mg, right? Like that the mass times the rate of acceleration due to gravity, that is the force of gravity, is that it is mass times gravity, the gravitational acceleration constant. That would be a belief in mathematics being the real world. Whereas on the empiricist side, they would say that, concepts are humanly contrived and that we should be very skeptical about a human understanding. And so we should only take what we can be sure about, and that's just perception, nothing more than that. Kant kind of takes both of these, synthesizes them, and then differentiates himself from both projects. So he's affirming the empirical world in contrast to just concepts as being real things. He says that it is sense data inhered with conceptual organization that allows us to make meaning out of phenomena. I feel like I'm getting a little bit lost in the weeds. I'm trying to put it together. Kant kind of writes like this, so I'm trying to do you some favors by not making you read a book that's this thick. So basically, by pointing out that both of these projects have problems, Kant uses the argument that space and time are the general forms of experience to say that all of experience is human. And so Hume and the empiricists are wrong because perception is still human. It still has a human organization to it. And that even if you abstract things in reflection, in some way, the sense world is still conceptually oriented around the ways that we can make meaning out of experience. For instance, it would be useless, or I won't say it would be useless. It is useful for us as humans to understand things like ears and shading and light and facial expressions and sounds and being able to have all these different awarenesses of nuances in sense experience. That's all conceptual organization. Otherwise, it would just be meaningless gibberish, kind of the ways that someone who's on some sort of drug might sound. It might just be blabbering things. Or abstract art can be extremely almost meaningless in appearance. It can be very striking and very powerful, but it doesn't seem to be very well organized. And so sometimes I'm just, Jackson Pollock is a great example. It's just splatters, and that has its own conceptual story baked into it, but basically it's trying to get at this sense of something random, something that isn't organized already. It's toward a preconceptual imagination. So there's kind of that side to it.